Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello. And
we survived a short trip to Orlando this week. It's actually the first time we've been to Florida since the pandemic. Last time we were there was in February. We used to go down pretty often. We're annual pass holders at both Disney and Universal. And we have thoughts on the situation. They're not all good thoughts. We're going to basically talk about how busy Walt Disney World is right now, and how if it wasn't for everybody wearing a face mask, you wouldn't realize there was a pandemic going on.
Exactly.
So for those of you who are concerned about being around large crowds of people, I would say stay as far away from Walt Disney World as possible, because there are large crowds.
And this is before DeSantis now changed it, which we're going to talk about in a minute. He's changing the guidelines again as of yesterday?
I think it was yesterday. Yeah, we'll talk about that. So it wasn't just us. We noticed that people were talking about, hey, the parks seem a little busier, because everybody's seen these videos. They've all seen the videos of people getting on Flight of Passage, 3 times in a row because there's no wait, and virtually empty Main Street and all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden Disney started slashing the prices on the hotels to get people to come down. I will tell you, our experience this week was that the park was just as packed as it was in February.
Yes.
And I noticed no difference other than people wearing masks.
Pretty much. And the thing is, people were booking because they were being told that the capacities were being limited. We already knew. We booked, and then it was brought up by the governor that capacities could go to 50%. Well, immediately Disney released all kinds of park pass availability, and I was like, they're upping the capacity. When people would ask them, they would not answer. Now, Universal had said for sure it was 25% capped weekdays. Weekends, I believe, was up to 50%. That might even change now, because apparently they can go up to, full capacity now?
I think full capacity.
I'm not understanding how that can do that safely, honestly.
I mean, look, we've got all kinds of commenters that have all kinds of opinions on, how serious the situation is right now. All I can tell you is that Disney was selling people on low crowds, and that was kind of the trade-off, was if you're willing to wear a mask and you're willing to have your experience cut because you can't park hop, and
you can't use Fast Pass.
You can't use Fast Pass, and the hours are limited, and there's all kinds of distancing. If you're willing to put up with that, come to Disney World, and you'll still have a pretty okay time. But now it's literally, there's no difference.
Now you have all the shit that goes along with the pandemic, but you have all the crowds too. And there's still stuff that's closed down, so it's even less places for people to go.
For the same amount of money.
For the same amount of money.
Yep.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And from a financial standpoint, it's not a good deal. And the fact is, that, I'm waiting for the next thing to be, and we're going to up the crowds, but that's okay. You can buy Fast Pass.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Disney at this point, and we've been chronicling the desperation of the Walt Disney Company. Obviously, their theme parks have been down.
Disneyland's not allowed to reopen.
Yeah, Disneyland, we have no idea when they're going to be reopening. The cruise lines, I wouldn't look for there to be any cruises this year. Probably next year. And, the movies have been a bust.
So what they have left? Walt Disney World. So we got to shove as many people in there as we can. And we're not going to tell people that we're shoving people in there, because then they won't come.
They'll cancel.
So what do you think is going to happen when now they can go full capacity, people? They're going to do it. They're not going to tell you that, but they're going to do it. But so now you have the big crowd that you always have. But now you have to wear masks. You have reduced hours, even though they extended them a little bit. They're going to be extending them a little bit. And you have to wait in line longer because there's no Fast Pass.
Yeah, and all of this happened within the last couple of weeks, and I've noticed that they've ramped up the marketing too. They're advertising like crazy, and
we'll take their money.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. They'll take your money.
They owe us money back for what we lost, because we lost 2 whole days. Well, our kids lost a whole day of tickets because we have annual passes. The kids do not, and we lost a complete day of tickets with the kids because we'll talk about that in a minute, because we couldn't go to the parks because they were too damn busy.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. So before we do, here's a little bit of joy.
Yes, I thought this would be fun, because everybody's putting up their campaign signs in their yard. I decided to have my own made. Kneon made me the signs. These are my ideas, and he brought them to life. So we have 2 signs. They're stacked on top. We've shown this picture. But Baby Yoda 2020, this is the way, and New Green New Deal. Pray I don't alter it any further, because why the hell not? I bet they get stolen out of our yard.
Somebody tried to steal our inflatable Santa Claus last year. I was very upset about that. I'm still mad. I called the cops.
He did.
I'm like, somebody tried to steal our...
And they said that you weren't the only one.
No, we had like a 20-foot Santa out front. Somebody tried to steal.
20 feet.
He's big.
He's like 10 feet.
No, he's bigger than that.
No, he's about 10 feet.
Well, he's a big Santa.
He's not 20 feet.
He's a big boy. Oh my God. He's expensive, and somebody tried to take him.
He's like 20 feet, like some people say 8 inches. So, He has what to say to that.
He doesn't slide down the chimney very easily. You have to lube him up.
Okay, but I'm just saying, this is how good you are at measurements.
That chubby man down the chimney. All right, so anyway, it's not just us. A lot of people have been noticing it. We're going to show you some pictures. This coming from Theme Park Insider 2 days ago. Robert Niles, who is a respected theme park journalist, is like, is attendance rising at Disney World? Yes, Robert.
Is he allowed to say this? Is he going to lose his cupcake pass?
I don't think he cares anymore. He's been saying some stuff lately.
We've been saying, how come we don't get a cupcake pass? And we were leading the charge on saying this, being honest.
This is, Galaxy's Edge we knew was going to be a mess because...
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is pre-COVID. So he said you can't compare line lengths to pre-COVID. No, you can. As Disney is now spacing its queue to allow for safe social distancing.
It's not safe social distancing.
No.
Because the little turds, people aren't watching and they're right up on you anyway.
Okay, so before we go any further, let me tell you, we have a tale of two theme parks. And this isn't just to take a shit on Disney, but we went to both Disney World and Universal. And I will tell you that as far as following protocol goes, Universal is doing a much better job.
Yes.
They are actually limiting their capacity. They tell you, I guess, during the weekdays, it's 25%, 50% on weekends. And they will state that. Disney's not going to tell you.
They won't announce. They won't say what their capacity is.
They will literally stop the ride if somebody takes their mask off. Mm-hmm. Okay. They make sure everybody's spaced out. They will tell you space out. Disney, it's a free-for-all. It is like, again, everybody's got different feelings on how, I guess, distant we should be and enforcement of all this stuff or whatever. Disney, there is literally no difference that I can see between pre-COVID and post-COVID Disney. The only difference the only real difference is everybody's wearing masks, but the crowd levels are about the same. The experience is about the same.
But now you have less tables at the restaurants because if their tables closed down, you don't have as many places to sit. So you have all these limitations, which is making it 10 times harder. And at Disney, we were there, and other than one person, I didn't see anybody wiping anything down. No. The tables, it's food and wine, are covered with stuff. Yeah. No one's wiping this crap down. I had to take my own wipes out of my bag. I think it's on the video. I take my wipe out, wipe the table down because no one's wiping this stuff down. You go to Universal and they're constantly wiping stuff down.
Universal, before you get on any ride at Universal, there is a team member there with a pump full of hand sanitizer.
Yep.
And like I said, we were on 2 rides that they told people they would stop the ride and be like, you have to put your mask back on because people are trying to take the mask off during the ride. Disney, I saw kids literally with the mask off, picking their nose, wiping it on the chains in the queues. We had one little kid named Mackie, who was behind us on, hi Mackie, Mackie's parents who weren't paying attention, behind us on Pirates of the Caribbean. The kid was right literally on my ass. He was underneath my backpack.
They were not staying by the lines. We saw this many times with groups. They're not staying by their lines. And then you have the other people who are the opposite, who would try to take up 2 lines because they want to. But yeah, he kept doing that. And then when Kneon looked at the mom like, what the heck? She told the kid that he's grumpy. It's like, he's not grumpy. He's tired of your little spawn of Satan running around, and you're not doing your job as a parent.
The kid was literally... like, he had no mask because I guess he was 2, but he was literally like both hands on the wall the whole way up the...
I mean, he's 2. I get it. You're 2.
I get it.
Our kids, we took Pinky Boo when she was 2.
Yeah.
And if she had behaved like that, she would have gotten in big flippin' trouble. You know what? She was 2 and she didn't behave that way. She stayed with us. She didn't go touch other people.
No.
You know, don't give me that. Well, she's only 2. I worked with little kids. They understand if you tell them not to do that.
Yeah, well, you know what we also did when she was 2, and this is another complaint of mine, personal pet peeve, is the strollers. When Pinky Boo was 2, guess what? I carried her. If she couldn't walk, I carried her because I wasn't gonna, deal with the inconvenience both for us and for other guests of having the damn strollers. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember the strollers being as prevalent back then as they are now. Now it's like they're all over the damn place.
That's one nice thing about less people. But you know what you think, except there's still a bunch of strollers.
They're jazzies and strollers and all that shit.
We went to Epcot on Monday, And it wasn't too bad. It was in the afternoon, so Future World was pretty. It was pretty empty for the most part. We had to wait a little bit, but mostly it wasn't too bad. But everybody was in the World Showcase, and the World Showcase looked just like it would look any other day.
Yeah,
it was just as busy as it always was. And then we went to Magic Kingdom on Tuesday. And it was okay in the morning. The first couple hours was great. No one around. You could walk on. If you're seeing empty streets, it's probably taken in the morning. By the afternoon, it was terrible. You couldn't walk. People everywhere. They had the line for the Haunted Mansion, clear through the queue, and then clear out down the street past the boat and heading down towards the snack carts because there's so many people. And we got fed up, and we're just like, at that point, we're out.
We left at like 2 or 3 o'clock that afternoon. We got fed up, and I'm going to tell you about Animal Kingdom here too. Our experience at Animal Kingdom. We basically just got fed up and left Disney early and went to Universal. But yeah, they said readers were reporting a 70-minute wait for Slinky Dog Dash, 70 minutes for the Smuggler's Run, 90 minutes for Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah, I have pictures. It was like that. I took a picture off, a screenshot of the app, and it was showing stuff like that.
These aren't the easy breezy waits that entice some Disney fans to strap on their masks and get out to the parks.
So they're risking it to go be, well, I don't want to hear people say, it's not real. I don't care what your opinion is about it. I'm just saying, if you're going by the idea that you can catch it, and before you say it's not real, we had a relative who almost died from it, so it is real. Sorry. So if you're gonna risk it and go out, people are like, okay, I'm gonna go because they're limiting. I'm gonna go ahead and go ahead out, take the chance. If you don't believe in it, then you should be totally fine. Have at it. Take the chance and everything else, and then they're thinking they're gonna be okay, and then they get down there, and then it's like wall-to-wall people. They're not cleaning things. Everything they promised they supposedly were doing, they've silently stopped doing. For the most part. Yeah,
they even said here, Disney leaders always said the resort's return would be a phased reopening with the parks increasing the entrance capacity limits over time. Dates that once appeared yellow on the resort's reservation availability calendar are now green.
Yes, because as the governor says, you can go ahead to 50%. All these park passes came out available.
Florida's governor has given the state's theme parks a green light to raise their capacities. We're going to talk about it. I think he's lifted the limit.
On weekends. That's why Universal's doing 50% on weekends.
Right. And crowds on weekends, especially at Universal, which is running an aggressive Florida resident discount, has reminded some fans of life before March. But now it appears that the weekday crowd levels are beginning to creep up.
Oh, they're terrible. Well.
Yep.
No, bullshit. Weekdays aren't bad.
Definitely worse at Disney than Universal, which should be encouraging to the park's accountants, as September typically sees the beginning of a downward trend in park attendance. No, in September, the end of September is the end of Disney's fiscal year. So I think what
they need to shove you in there.
Yeah, I think what they're going to do, because we talked about this before, they're having an investor day here. And I think what they're going to do is be like, hey, everybody, good news. The park attendance is back to where it was before the pandemic. Even though, may or may not be completely safe, doesn't really matter.
Well, it doesn't matter if it is or not, because they keep saying, well, we're going to increase the limits because nobody has gotten sick from the parks. How do they know? They don't know that. Just like when you go in there, it says right there on the signs that you're agreeing by coming. It's voluntarily.
Yeah, it's on you.
So that if anything happens, it's your own fault. So they're already saying if you would say I got COVID at the park, their answer would be, well, you have to prove you got it here because you could have got it many places. But then they're saying with 100% certainty, no one has gotten sick. Wouldn't you have to prove it? Because to me, it just seems like what's good for the goose isn't good for the gander.
And there is a difference, I guess, at Disney, too. Now, I was told, and I'm not going to say who told me, but we were talking to some employees at various parks. And, those of you who work there, you may or may not be able to confirm. But I'm hearing that Universal is obviously testing everybody as they come in. They're giving you a band and checking your temperature.
Yeah, even to go in the hotel, you have to have your temperature checked and everything else.
Right. But Disney, apparently, a lot of their cast members are it's Scouts Honor. Now, I can't confirm that, but I did hear this from a parks employee.
Well, they said that, the cast members aren't having their temperatures checked at work.
Right.
Like they're supposed to.
So, I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. You're paying, just from a consumer standpoint, you are paying full price. You're paying pre-pandemic prices to go to the parks, have to wear a face mask, have limited hours, not be able to park hop. You
have to wait in as long lines as you wait normally, and there's no fast passes to get through on some rides faster.
And what's good? So just from a financial point of view, The only trade-off, and again, that's why we considered doing it. One, we wanted to see what it was like to go down.
Basically, we wanted to report on it. Yeah,
I wanted to report on it, but we were also like, I guess it's worth losing some of that since we already had the annual passes to be able to get on the stuff quicker or whatever, and that was the selling point. And now they're just sucking the money out of people. They need to. They have to. Disneyland's been down all year, and it's probably not going to open anytime soon because California is.
Well, they have the dates closed at least until October.
Yeah, so they're going to have to bleed Disney World. Disney World at this point is bankrolling the rest of the company.
And Disney Plus.
Well, and Disney Plus, though, they're in the hole for that. They're billions.
I never mentioned that, but yes.
Yeah, they might be making money on Disney Plus, but they're still billions of dollars in the hole.
They still owe a lot of money on Disney Plus.
Yeah, and they keep cutting back on experiences. They just let the orchestra go from the Grand Floridian. They've let other actors go. So they're cutting back on all these experiences while charging the same amount of money for tickets and doing frankly, my consumer point of view, a half-assed job at this social distancing cleaning protocol thing they're supposed to be doing. So it's going to be interesting to see how people feel once they get down there. Like, oh my God, this is exactly how it was. But, people are going to be like, well, I can't get sick from Disney World. It's Mickey's Magical Bubble.
If you feel fine going down there and doing it, go ahead. But like I said, Kneon said, you're not going to get what you pay for.
No, just from a consumer point of view. Like, I'm not going to sit here.
Not even counting the virus.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue because we get people in the comments getting into fights over whatever. We went down. We were careful. Geeky does have asthma, and she did have a relative who just got off of a ventilator. So we were a little nervous going down, but we were as careful as we could be. And then we get to Disney, and they're just like, whatever.
I know, I was not happy. We flipping drove 17 hours each way to not go to the airport in the planes. Because honestly, I think if you're going to get something, it's probably going to be at the airport on the airplane, something like that. So we drove because we're like, well, we'll go there, and everybody's saying they feel safer there than their Walmart. Well, I hate to see what your Walmart looks like. If you feel safer at Disney than Walmart, your Walmart must be something.
Yeah, Disney, I mean, compared to Universal, they're really, really lax in the cleaning and distancing. And at this point, they just want to bring the money in. That's what this is all about. And
you're mean to the green.
Yep, that's it. So it's, expect, if you go now, expect it to be just like any other day at Disney, except you can't park hop. Limited hours, no fireworks. You're losing a lot of entertainers.
You might as well just wait until, if you're going to have the exact same experience, you might as well wait until you can have, don't have to wear the mask, don't have to have every table taken, don't have to put up with all the crap, don't have to, you have to stand on the lines, and you'll have the fireworks back in the better hours and everything else. Just wait.
Yeah, so how bad was it? Well, let me put it to you this way. We left Magic Kingdom at 2 or 3 o'clock?
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be a full day at Magic Kingdom. Kids were fed up.
Full day is 5, to be fair.
Yeah, till 5 o'clock. But we left early. Skipped a bunch of rides. The kids were...
They just wanted to go.
They were
just done.
And we had the same thing at Epcot. Everybody was getting short. We were having problems getting into things. The tables were not cleaned. It was a mess. So we kind of left in a huff then too. And then, and look, you're talking to people who go to Disney World all the damn time. This isn't like our expectations were way high or anything. We've been there more times than we can count. Okay. And it was like, yeah, this is a cluster. And then Wednesday, I was supposed to take the kids to Animal Kingdom.
And I was supposed to go to Hollywood Studios.
So we pull up to Animal Kingdom and we were driving this trip. And my God, Squid King was like, the people are pouring out of the buses.
Yeah, and they used to be social distancing the cars. They're not. They're parking you right next to the other car. And that even with that, they were already in the auxiliary parking lot.
Yeah, they were. We were in the overflow parking at like 9 o'clock in the morning because, again, they kept telling people, you come down now, everybody. If you can put up with wearing a mask, you're going to get on Flight of Passage like 5 times in a row. Everybody was there expecting it. And that did not happen. In fact, what happened was we got up to the gates. We saw how many people there were, and it was like any other, I would say,
probably more so,
7 or 8 crowd day. And my daughter, who loves Animal Kingdom and is a daredevil and hasn't really been too concerned with all the social distancing and all that stuff, she said, I don't want to go. I don't want to go anymore. I want to go back. I don't want to go. There's too many people. I don't like it. I want to go. And they were on top of each other, falling out of the buses. They were crowded up against each other. There was no distancing.
And the buses, you said people were standing on the buses?
I think so. I couldn't see because the windows were tinted.
I never got on the bus because the line for the bus, well, you called me, so I got out of line, but the line for the bus at the hotel was stretched. I don't know. I was probably at least like 60 people down, and there's people behind me. I was probably 60 people deep. Well, probably more than that, because the people in front of me was like 10 people there. So it was probably way more than that. There was getting on the line for the bus, and we had already waited for like 2 other bus loads, and we still had ways to go. And that was all going to Hollywood. So I already knew I was in trouble. And then I got a line because you said you're coming back. But we didn't go to either one of those parks. Now, our kids had the extra tickets paid for that day to go to Animal Kingdom, and we went and bought them because we thought, well, if there's no crowds, we might as well take them there too. And we're probably out those 2 tickets, Disney, because that like hell, and that was before the governor announced that you could go green or whatever. So that was before that. So you were already packing them in and won't announce capacity. So they could have been doing 60, 70% for all we know, and saying, well, it's only 30. Or not, they aren't saying anything.
Yeah.
It's a load of crap. So just don't bother.
Yeah, don't bother. It's not worth it. If you thought it was worth going now because you would actually have a better experience with less crowds and it was, being cleaned out, it's not. It's not. It's actually, at this point, I'd say it's a ripoff because the crowd levels are the same as they were before the pandemic.
And that picture you just had up was from today.
That was today.
This is today.
This is about what it looked like when we went. They were showing people coming in here. It was actually busier than that. And this is on a Wednesday. Now, you had pictures of people in Magic Kingdom. I know it was packed. Liberty Square was packed.
That was on a Tuesday.
That was on a Tuesday. Okay. So here's what's going on. The Florida governor talks Disney World capacity limitations, will remove restaurant capacity limitations, and Florida's entering phase 3. DeSantis removes remaining restrictions via executive order. So, yeah, I'm sorry, it's absolutely going to go back to full capacity. People are basically being hoodwinked into going down thinking that they're going to get these light crowds.
What sucks is, as Orlando basically got it under control, and now they're letting everybody in from every place else.
Yeah, and I understand that. Now, here's where it's gets tricky because there are so many cast members and team members at these parks that are laid off. Now, but what could potentially happen is if it does become a cluster for whatever reason, and then everything has to shut down again. I don't know. I hope that doesn't happen, but they have to have people come through. But if you're going expecting low crowds, just forget it.
Yeah, it does not look like that picture. I'm telling you straight up.
Oh God, no, that is not. That is the furthest thing from. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And again, this is about, I believe, them just trying to be able to tell the investors, it's fine, everybody. The crowd levels are great. Look at all the people. But don't worry, they all waived any right to anything by going, so they can't come after us. But but no one's gotten sick from any park ever that they can prove.
Exactly, because they can't prove it.
You can't prove it.
That's what I'm saying. That's how can they say 100% that no one got sick? They can't any more than But they want to tell people that if you got sick, you can't prove it's us. Well, you can't prove it wasn't either. So,
Well, because if you look at the coronavirus under a microscope, if it came from Disney, it's got mouse ears on it.
Then you're safe.
It's Disney. That's the thing, too. People let their guard down at Disney because they think nothing bad can happen at Disney. This is why people get hurt. This is why all this crazy stuff happens at Disney, because people think it's Disney. I can't get hurt at Disney. It's Mickey's magic is going to keep me from getting hurt.
Mickey Magic Show.
The Mickey Magic Show. Well, the only magic here is sleight of hand, guys, because you're not going to get what you're paying for at this point in time. I would say wait. Wait a while and see what happens. But I guess we're going to wrap this one up.
Yes.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.